Hi, I'm Crystal. As a child, I was always nurturing and naturally loved dolls. When I became an adult and discovered Reborn dolls, my little family started to grow. There's Haley, Landon, Avery, Chloe, Shiloh, Grace, Jamie, Jeremy, Maya, Yuki, and Savannah. Along with collecting, I have been a Reborn artist since 2008. It isn't easy keeping up with my collection, but it's a lot of fun. Hey guys, so I'm here to do a video about purchasing your Reborn. I just want to give some tips that I have learned along the way in purchasing Reborns, and learning what to look for and how to make sure that you're going to get what you want in a Reborn. So Jamie is with me today. He's a sleepyhead right now, but he just looked so cute I couldn't resist picking him up. I love him in this little outfit. He looks so newborn. But anyways, let's just get right into it. So basically, I think the really main important thing to keep in mind when you are planning to purchase a Reborn, whether it be your first Reborn or your 10th Reborn, it really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, do your research. If this is your first Reborn, then you definitely want to do a lot of research and learn a lot about Reborns. Learn as much as you can about how they're made and what to look for. And just don't jump in too fast, especially with your first Reborn. Really take your time making your decision on who you're going to purchase from, what kit you want, what you want it to look like. Just really take your time. And so basically, do your research, learn about what good quality materials should be used in the Reborn for weighting and stuffing, paints, the type of hair, eyes. There's so many different varies, and not to say that cheap mohair or cheap eyes are not good quality. I've seen some with done very, very well, but it depends on what you want. So learn as much as you can before deciding. Also research the artists. Really, I advise you to look in doll forums. There's plenty of free forums on Facebook for Reborns, or you can check out dollfan.com, and you can pretty much read, I think, the majority of the forums in there for free. But if you want to post, you have to pay a yearly subscription to join. But it's really inexpensive, and it really is a wealth of information, because you can go on there and you can see what artists people are buying from, what artists people really recommend and enjoy. And you can, ask for opinions on artists. You can ask for recommendations. So just really do your research is the main thing. I can't stress enough. And, you can go and talk to other members on Dollfan. If there's a particular artist that you have your eye on, but you've never purchased from them, and you're wondering if they're on eBay, check their feedback. If they're on Etsy, check their feedback is the good starting point. And then like I said, go in the forums, see if anyone has purchased from the artist, and see what they have to say about the quality of the work and the communication with the artist, things like that. Those are really important. Especially if you're going to get a custom Reborn, I definitely would say you want to make sure that the artist is going to have good communication with you. So that's important as well. And places to look. to purchase a Reborn. I mean, I think still the majority of Reborns are on eBay. But I know a lot of artists are starting to make the move to Etsy. So I do want to put Etsy out there. I'm on Etsy. A lot of artists are trying to transition over to Etsy now, just because eBay really doesn't offer much protection for the sellers. And their fees are going up and up and up, and it's crazy. They're offering this stupid global shipping now, which I find is like a ridiculously expensive shipping. I used to be able to buy lots of baby clothes off of eBay, but I'm finding that I can't do that anymore because the shipping is just ridiculously high now because they all use the global shipping program. So definitely check out Etsy. You can also check out Reborn groups on Facebook. I know I just purchased Savannah, my Coco Malou, off of a lady on Facebook who is a Reborn artist, but she was not the artist that reborn Savannah. She was selling a bunch of her collection on her Facebook page. And so that's another way too, is buying Reborns on the secondary market. You can get pretty good deals. Again, on Dolphin, there's a Reborns for sale section. And while there's a lot of artists posting brand new Reborns, there's a lot of collectors that are looking to sell off some of their collection. And sometimes you can get steals, like really good, beautiful, quality made Reborns for really good prices. I know for me, Yuki, I got her from my friend Emily, who had decided to sell her, and I got an amazing deal. Same with Savannah. I mean, the quality Reborn that she is, like her rooting is like meticulous, her paint job is wonderful, and she's by a really like high-end well-known artist, and I got her for like half price. So you know, it's really good to shop around and really see what, you know, what's in your budget, and really, like, you don't have to get, you know, a low quality Reborn in order to afford it. You can, like I said, the secondary market is a great place to look because you can find some really good quality Reborns at discount prices. So definitely, to me, those are the two main points, is really check its feedback, really do your research, and just look around, shop around. You may even want to try going on Google and typing in Reborn dolls and then your city, and you might even find a local Reborn artist that way who actually has a website. I know a lot of my customers have been local that way. They've found me through an ad I've placed on Kijiji, or they've just Googled for a Toronto Reborn artist and my website's come up, and so I've actually been able to have people come and look at the Reborns in person so that they know exactly what they're getting before they buy. And to me, I think that's fantastic, because personally I find like purchasing in person is probably another really good tip. If you can go to a doll show, or if you can find a local artist where you can go to their home and see the babies in person, it is worth so much more to do that, because pictures can be altered. Pictures, you know, if you have really good photography skills, you can hide flaws in the babies really easily. Whereas if you see it in person, you're going to be able to see everything up close and you won't miss anything. So definitely check out doll shows if you can. Search for local doll shows. That's another good tip. And so another thing that's a really good tip that I can offer is that once you do decide on an artist, or let's say you found a baby on Etsy or eBay or even Dolphin, or, you know, secondhand market on Facebook, whatever the case may be, is ask a lot of questions. Whoever the seller is, whether it's a collector selling their collection or whether it's an artist selling their work, you want to ask a lot of questions. Make sure that you see lots of close-up photos of their face, of their hair, of their hands, like of all of their details, you want really close-up pictures. And if the auction or Etsy page or whatever doesn't offer a lot of close-ups, I would be a little bit leery of pages that don't provide close-up pictures. But if you are interested in the doll and if you think it looks like a nice doll, then I would just email the artist or collector and ask for additional pictures. If they have nothing to hide and they're, you know, a good artist or good seller, then they will comply and they will give you extra pictures. That was one thing with Savannah. She only had posted like 2 of the original artist's photos when she was selling Savannah, and while she looked absolutely gorgeous, I wanted to see like details before I decided to go ahead with it. So I asked her and she took pictures. She took close-up pictures of the hair, of the face, things like that for me, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow. So, and then I knew that it was a good choice. So, you know, you just want to ask a lot of questions. If there's anything unclear in their description that you're unsure about, ask, you know, you can ask what they're weighted with, what they have them, because believe me, I've heard some horror stories of things that are inside the dolls. I've heard garbage, I've heard of dirt, kitty litter, fishbowl stones, rocks. I've heard of like a disastrous number of things, and really I think dolls should only be weighted with either poly pellets. Some people are now using the little steel BB pellets to add extra weight without the bulk, and those are fine. Glass beads and polyfill really is, to me, that's good quality stuff, and it should all be contained within either like a vinyl glove or a stocking that's like doubled up so that nothing leaks out. To me, that's acceptable and good quality, and if they're filled with anything but that, I wouldn't go for that. So again, you want to ask about that, and you want to ask for close-ups of the hair, because you want to make sure that there's no plugs, because it doesn't look good and it doesn't look realistic. So, you know, you want to see like 1 to 2 hairs per follicle, things like that. And you want to make sure that everything is sealed properly, that the hair is sealed properly inside so it's not going to fall out. You want to make sure if they have rooted eyelashes that they're sealed properly and they're not going to fall out. So things like that, you just want to ask. You know, and also, like, if you're new to reborns and this is like your first reborn, think about what you want the weight of your baby to be. Because for me, I find that, you know, a 5-pound reborn to me feels more like an 8 or 9-pound reborn because it's dead weight. So if you're trying to, like, if you're thinking in your mind, oh, well, most infants weigh about 7 to 8 pounds, so if I'm getting a custom, I'm going to ask for a 7 to 8 pound reborn. Well, really, that's going to feel more like a 10 to 11 pound doll, which can get really heavy. So you want to keep that in mind. And so, you know, if you see a doll on eBay and you think the weight might be too much, you can always ask the artist to remove a little bit of the weight before they send it off to you. Or if it looks like it's underweight, you can always ask them to add a little bit more, things like that. And then again, if it's a custom, well, it's really up to you. But also get the artist's opinion, because sometimes it depends on the size of the doll and the size of the body as to how much weight can be put in before it kind of takes away from the realistic feel of the body. So things like that to consider. Also, another thing I wanted to mention is once you've purchased your reborn and it's being shipped to you, while I know shipping reborns can be expensive, I think it's kind of worth it to pay the money to have the package insured. as well as to require a signature upon delivery. I think those are really, really important. I know most artists do it now, but you know, if they don't, I would request it, and I would be willing to pay the extra money for it, because it protects both you and the buyer. So that way, if the package goes missing or whatever, it's insured, and you know, things can be handled. Also, that way the artist has proof that the doll has arrived to you, so it protects the seller as well. So that's something else I think everyone should consider. And while it is a little bit expensive, it's worth it. And also keep in mind, if you are in a different country from the seller, that you sometimes will have to pay custom duty fees depending on where you live. So, you know, most of the time, I believe I've heard that the US doesn't have to pay customs, but places like Canada or other places overseas sometimes will have to pay custom fees and like duty taxes and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind, that your purchase might have extra charges on it once it arrives to you, and that you will have to pay those charges before the package is released to you. And I think that's pretty much it. So like the main points that I want to emphasize is do your research, shop around, don't rush into anything, and ask the artist or seller lots and lots of questions. And that's pretty much all I can say about it. I think that to me those are the really important things, and if you do that, you shouldn't really have an issue. Like I said, the main thing is like finding out if you can find others that have purchased from this person that can vouch for the fact that they're great and things like that. Oh yes, and also, like I said, another point was trying to see dolls in person, to try to shop in person, because to me that's the best, because you can pick them up, you can hold them, you can feel what they feel like, and you can see all their details in person. So those are like the 4 main points I wanted to give, and I think if you do that, you should be pretty happy with your Reborn purchase. So I guess that's it for this video. I wish everyone out there all the success with purchasing your first Reborn or your 10th. It doesn't matter. To me, it's all the same process, but definitely if it's your first, you really want to make sure before you buy. So that's it for this video. Jamie and I will say good night. Bye, guys. Okay, let's see. Now this is supposed to be a preemie size, but it looks kind of big for preemie. So I think it should fit her fairly well. So one thing that I've always kind of, I don't know, been bothered with some baby clothes